You know, all those social media apps on your phone, they're free, right? But they come with this hidden price. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover exactly what that price is. And more importantly, who's really paying it.
You've probably heard this saying before, right? If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. It's a classic for a reason. I mean, think about it. You don't pay a dime for Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. So how in the world are they making billions of dollars? Well, the answer is simple and it's a little chilling. They aren't selling a product to you, they're selling a product that is you.
Okay, be honest. When was the last time you signed up for an app and actually read those miles and miles of terms and conditions? Yeah, I thought so. Nobody does. But buried in all that legal jargon, you agreed to a deal. An unwritten contract, really. You give them your data, your attention, your precious time, and in return, you get to connect with friends, scroll through some entertainment. Sounds like a pretty fair trade, doesn't it? Well, let's take a much closer look.
Just to put this into perspective, running these platforms isn't just a little expensive, it is astronomically expensive. Facebook, or Meta now, has spent over $20 billion on just their data centers. That's just to store your vacation photos and family videos, all that stuff we upload for free. So that money, it has to come from somewhere, right?
So where does all that cash come from? Well, it comes from selling the single most valuable and, let's be real, the most limited commodity in the 21st century, your attention. It's what experts call the attention economy. And it's a pretty simple idea when you break it down. In our world, which is just flooded with information, right? Your focused attention is an incredibly scarce resource. And just like gold or oil, because it's scarce, it's valuable. So these tech companies, they're in a constant, fierce battle for your eyeballs. Because the more of your attention they can grab and hold, the more money they can make. It's that simple. You know, back in 2017, The Economist made this now famous declaration. They said, "The world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data." And man, were they right. Every single piece of your personal information, every location tag, your search history, it's all become the fuel that powers this massive engine of the digital economy. And just how big is that engine? The market for selling your attention is worth over $230 billion. Just let that number sink in. That's bigger than the entire economy of some countries. It's this massive global industry that's built on one single fundamental principle: getting you to look at ads.
Okay, so how exactly do they do it? How do they turn your attention, your screen time, into pure profit? Well, it all starts by collecting your data to build this highly detailed digital version of you.
Every single time you use an app, you're leaving behind this trail of digital breadcrumbs. I mean, every time. They know what you like, where you go, who you talk to. It doesn't even stop there. They use these little trackers called cookies to follow you around the rest of the internet. All of this is used to build a ridiculously sophisticated profile of your entire life. And then, they sell access to that profile to the highest bidding advertiser.
Now, if you think I'm exaggerating, listen to this. A journalist in Paris used her rights under European law to ask the dating app Tinder for all the data they had on her. What she got back was an 800-page document. 800 pages. It detailed her deepest secrets, her insecurities, her every desire, even her moments of loneliness. Tinder literally knew her better than her own mother. That is the power of this data. But here's where it gets even more serious. It's not just about selling you a new pair of shoes. With this much data, tech companies can do something far, far more powerful. They can actually begin to shape the way you see the entire world.
You might think your social media feed is just a simple window onto the world, right? It's really not. It's a carefully curated reality. It's a show designed by an algorithm, which is basically a complex robot, and its only goal is to keep you hooked. That robot, that algorithm, it doesn't care about what's true, or what's good for you, or what's healthy. It only cares about one thing: what will keep you scrolling.
And this focus on engagement has a really dangerous side effect. The algorithm, it very quickly learns your biases, your opinions, your politics, and then it creates what we call an echo chamber. You only see content that confirms what you already believe. It's like living inside a bubble where everyone agrees with you all the time. And this is a powerful, powerful force that's tearing our societies apart, leaving absolutely no room for a middle ground.
If you need a real-world example, look no further than the Cambridge Analytica scandal. This was a massive wake-up call for the entire world. This was the moment we all saw in stark detail how our personal data could be weaponized. Psychological profiles built from our Facebook data without our knowledge were used not just to sell products, but to manipulate our deepest fears and hopes, all to influence a presidential election. It was a game changer.
And the crucial, chilling point here is that the algorithm doesn't have a conscience. It's just code. It just wants to keep you engaged. And let's face it, what's more engaging than outrage? In Myanmar, Facebook's algorithm amplified hate speech against the Rohingya minority. Why? Simply because it was going viral. It was getting clicks and shares, and that amplification contributed to a real-world genocide. The system, by its very design, chose profit over people.
So it's not just our societies that are being reshaped by this technology. It's happening inside our own minds too.
Look, social media is quite literally addictive by design. It's basically a slot machine in your pocket. Every time you pull down to refresh your feed, you're playing a little game of chance. You might get a rewarding new notification, a new like, a new message, or you might get nothing. That unpredictable reward system, that's the exact same neurological loop that hooks gamblers, and it's what keeps you coming back for more and more and more.
And every single feature on your favorite app, from the endless infinite scroll to those little red notification dots that you just have to click, is meticulously designed by what they call attention engineers in Silicon Valley. Their only job is to exploit your brain's psychology and keep you hooked. You know, they aren't building tools for us anymore. They're building habits in us.
This quote from the CEO of Netflix is, well, it's chilling, but it's also brutally honest about how these companies see the world. Our biggest competition is a person's sleep. Just think about that. Every moment you're not on their platform, when you're sleeping, talking with your family, or just thinking to yourself, is a moment of revenue that they've lost. It's a zero-sum game for your consciousness.
So after all that, what can we actually do about it? Look, the problem is big. It's huge. And a real, lasting solution is going to require systemic change and new laws. But the solution also starts with you. The first, and maybe the most powerful step, is simply to become aware of what's happening and begin taking back control of your own data and your own attention.
So here's something you can do, like right now. Your data is probably already out there somewhere. Big companies get hacked all the time. But you can, and you absolutely should, find out if you've been a victim. Go to the website Have I Been Pwned? It's a free, trusted resource. You just type in your email and it'll tell you if your address has been exposed in a major data breach. It's a really critical first step to protecting yourself.
The digital world we live in is an incredibly powerful force, but here's the thing to remember. We are not powerless in this, not at all. By understanding how these systems actually work, by making conscious choices about how we use them, and by demanding better from the companies that build them, we can start to take back control. The future, you know, it isn't written in code. It's written by us.